right.
Pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance.
If you want to.
Yeah, we always do.
Okay. You. Principal's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right, can we stand up in this pledge of allegiance, please? One, two, three.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, everybody. Your show, Paula.
Right. So we'll do a roll call because some of us said there's a lot of new faces for this. If we could all just kind of let us know you're here, let us know your name. I'd appreciate it. If you don't mind starting.
My name is Mrs. Kyle and I'm a student representative.
Thank you.
Maybe you're a senior. Oh, I'm a senior. And you're on last year. Yeah. Hi, I'm Alex Sevilla. I was joined the Taft LSC last year, and I have a son who's a junior, and I'm looking forward to this year. And Loyo, this is my first year, and I got a sophomore. Bridget Doherty Trebbing, teacher rep, second term.
I'm Scott Bunch, I'm the teacher rep. I'm also in my second term.
Hi, I'm Maggie Barron, and I am new to the Taft LSC, so Brandon.
I'm Paul Connolly. I'm new to the LSC as well. I'm the current chair. I have a daughter in sophomore year. I'll have another freshman here next year.
Hey, everybody, Mark Chris Saber, principal, my 9th year.
I'm Mary Kay Cobb. I am now community rep,
How many years? How many years now?
and I have been on the council for a long time.
Older than a freshman?
Older than a freshman.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
My name is Margie Betzer. I am a community rep, first time, and eager to be involved and help out.
My name is Dean Gorder, first signing, first term. My daughter's here, and I've had 3 graduated. Father of 5 daughters, 3 graduated, and 1 graduated.
Kathy Carone, parent rep. I have a senior and a junior. Yeah, first.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. I'll motion to approve today's agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? All right. Agenda is approved. If everyone could take a few minutes to look over the minutes, unless you've already done it, if you've looked over the minutes from the last meeting. Does anyone need more time to look them over? All right, I'll motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
My second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Okay. All right, next on the agenda, we've got COVID safety updates. A lot of this agenda I kept from a previous agenda that I had seen. And so if some of this stuff has changed or no longer necessary, look, I'm open to talking about that. But if we've got current COVID safety updates, and if this needs to stay on the agenda as a regular item, are there any COVID updates?
I can speak from a staff perspective.
Okay.
So we're not doing a separate COVID safety committee this year, or professional development committee to address kind of we met to update how things are different this year, what things have stayed the same. And CPO is saying for a staff member to be a COVID safety captain, so that's going to be a staff member that's the point.
Okay, would this be better under the PPLC, like as an item,
We
or?
could do it there.
Okay. Does that include the student mental health counseling?
That one I don't.
You know what that is?
And you should, Eric, would that be Melissa? She's not here tonight, right? BHT?
All right, should I remove that as a regular item? Or?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we're here to reports.
All right, principal's report. I'll start. We usually have a student spotlight where we bring a student in here, whether they're going to play the violin, the clarinet, the oboe, or those recite a poem. I'm not going to do it this time because we have a lot of stuff on the agenda, but I will spotlight a lot of our students, which is actually the first item on my principal report. Mr. Martinez, Pedro Martinez, the CEO of the Chicago Public Schools, came here. Ms. Beck and Mr. Carmona also visited the school. Mr. Carmona is probably, I think, the third ranking person in CPS, and Mary Beck is over education and learning. I'm just going to brag on my kids instead of having a student spotlight. They were so amazing. Princess was amazing. She was one of our spokespersons. I didn't really have to say anything, and I didn't want to say anything. We came here, and we sat at that table over there, and Pedro Martinez really asked our kids some questions, like why, in his line of questioning was this: why is everybody want to go to Taft? A lot of neighborhood schools are dwindling, yet this school seems to be the outlier here, where you are the school that we are all looking at in CPS and scratching our heads and saying, why are they all going to Taft and they're exiting all other schools at an alarming rate? And it is a truth. Since I've been in CPS for 16 years, we went from, I believe, $406,000 or 406,000 students. I think we're down to 325. Yet in that same time, we've increased 33%. So they were just bragging on our school, and it was just Miss Miner's daughter was there, and I was beaming like a dad. Like my daughter just scored the winning goal in soccer. It was really amazing to watch our kids and watch your eyes light up. And what is so amazing, and it wasn't rehearsed. It was from the heart, and you could tell that Mr. Martinez was really impressed. In fact, when we walked around, some of my APs were talking to him, or I would talk to him, and he's just like, Mark, I'm not kidding when I say that. We are looking at Taft, and we have to duplicate what you're doing here, you know? And so it's testament to everybody in this room. I'll take 1% of the credit if everybody else does, but it really is nice to be noticed, because so often, you know, I've said it over the years to my APs. I'm like, why doesn't anybody from CPS want to visit us? I mean, I know what they think we're in Wisconsin here, but I mean, you would think, you know, I've never had anybody come in, and all of a sudden I think Mr. Martinez is telling his staff to get out and see the schools, and now they're all visiting us. So when they came, it was really heartfelt. You know, I'm like, and I don't think he was lying. He listened to us about what things we needed. He made some changes. I can't speak enough about this guy. I mean, I've been through so many changes at the top, but the fact that he even listened to us and changed the calendar is amazing, because we've been wanting to do that for 16 years, to where we shouldn't be here till the third week of June. We should be out the first week of June, like every other school in Illinois. And he actually had the gumption to go ahead and do it and listen to his principal. So it was really amazing. So that's my student spotlight, is just bragging. Eric, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Can you expound on that? Because you bragged on him for like 10 minutes in my office the next day.
Yeah,
So,
no, I mean, it's, we've always had, you know, people from central office come to visit Taft over the years, and, you know, students, always represent Taft well, but this particular group, it was like, they hit on every single piece of the school, the clubs, the activities, the programs, IB, CP and CP, and it was amazing. Princess, your comment specifically about students, about the teachers, and how you appreciate all the teachers and all they do for you here, and how that wasn't your experience at your previous school outside the state.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great. It was like Mr. Chu said, almost brought me to tears. It's really exciting.
yeah. And in fact, Princess did have the best comment, because she's like, I didn't like my teachers at my other school. And Mr. Martinez was like, where was that at? And she goes, Minnesota. And he's like, oh, okay. So she was the hit of the show here. So, okay, so let's move on. We held a debriefing with an IB program specialist who came here to find out how we're doing business and how they can help us. We are going to ask for a little more funding this year. It is kind of a discrepancy when schools with smaller populations than us are getting the same amount of money as us. And we think, once again, it's not one size fits all. Anybody with a 16-year-old teenage boy and a 4-year-old girl, don't give them the same meal. So we shouldn't be getting the same thing as some of these smaller schools. So we're going to advocate for that. We started something this year. We had something called a co-teaching contract, jointly completed a co-teaching agreement. I don't want to call it a contract because it makes it sound worse than it is, but it really is just teachers and their co-teachers getting together and say, how's this year going to run? Okay, so some people are like, what is this all about? But then when they sat and looked at the actual document, they're like, okay, we would normally talk about this stuff. And then a couple of points were in it. They're like, oh, I'm glad they brought this up. I would have missed this. So we're going to give them some more time and some future professional developments, especially principal-directed professional developments, to meet again to actually talk about how we're doing in our class. Number two, master schedule allows for all of our teacher collaboration teams, our house teams, and our vertical teams to meet. So you need to understand just how difficult that is to get all these teams to have the same prep period so they can meet, because that's when really the work gets done in the school, and that's what moves us ahead. We have 1,087 classes, of which only 16 are over the contractual limit, and the contractual limit is 7 over in any class, or 13 over in the total schedule. And when I say contractual limit, that's the one where the CPS gets notified and ding, like, uh-oh, we need to get them some more funding. Of the 4,329 students, 46% of them are college prep, 33% are honors, and 20% are AP. And if you put it together, look at the numbers, it's 53% of our kids, or more than half of our kids, are taking advanced classes as opposed to college prep. A lot of things have went into that. Our programming, when we first started here, when new classes were open, they were always opened at a college prep level. We don't do that anymore. We open them as an honors level, okay? Our kids, and I keep saying that over and over again, but our kids are eating their educational vegetables. And again, the hardest part we had to change, I think, is not the kids, but the parents. Like, I don't think my kids can do that. And we're like, can you not tell them that? Because we know they can, and we think they can. So the kids are rising to the challenge. But we're entering the 3rd year of grading for equity, soon to be mirrored by the district, which is nice. Grading for equity, whereas we have equal grading bands, where the A, B, C, D, and F all have 10 percentage points. Climate and culture. This is a big one here. Ukrainian club, we had a meeting in this room last Thursday. Normally it wouldn't be a big deal, but we've had 60 Ukrainian refugees come here in the last couple of months.
How many?
60.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we were here, and Mr. Mihailov was here, and we got pizza for them, which they appreciated. We were using Google Translate up here, but it was really good for the families to get together and talk to each other. And I think a lot of connections were made. We did hire a parent who speaks Ukrainian. We hired her as a teacher, as a principal assistant. They've given us 3 principal assistant positions. We had 1 opening, so we hired this parent from a couple years ago who's fluent in Ukrainian, who can now help these kids as they go along. So really excited about that. We had an EL parent and student meeting, BAC advisory committee. We had Friday night lights tailgating. Our first night was wonderful. It's just, I can't tell you how that memory is being created in these kids, and they're going to talk about it 20 years, 25 years when they come back. I had an alumni reunion. We had August 20th was our all alumni union. It rained on everybody, but I'm telling you, they were dancing in the rain, and Eagle spirit was flying high. A lot of classes from 1980s. We rolled out SOAR, which is safety, opportunity, accountability, and respect. We met with all of the students on both campuses and had this presentation. And really what we did was we kind of laid down the expectations for the year. No phones. We're not doing the phone game anymore. Okay, you walk into a class, it's in the phone tree or it's in your bag. We're not going to even argue about that. It's non-negotiable anymore. We're not going to walk the hallways with our phones. It's not like I'm going to go to the bathroom and I'm going to take my phone and spend half an hour zigzagging around the entire building. We're not doing that anymore. And it really is, it's cracking down a little bit. We still have some kids that are going to test us, but you know, that's what teenagers do, and that's okay. But we'll get to them and all. So a lot of expectations about see something, say something, and not just tattling, but if you see a student or somebody that's hurting, let us know, and it's anonymous, because then we can help that student. So a lot of expectations. The kids were really good at it. We have red zones and green zones. Red zones, no phones. Green zones, you can use your phones. So things are going well. Let's see, I met with all Varsity campus students who expect expectations and sort. So that was fun. Talent, we hired 30 new teachers this year and staff members. All of my students have a teacher this year, okay? Couldn't say that last year. We were missing a couple of teachers again because we weren't funded until after the 20th day. I couldn't get them in here. And by the time I could hire them, a lot of the good ones are gone. I'm not going to hire a teacher just to fill a class. They have to be as good as the rest of our excellent teachers here, or they're not going to be on here. We had a new teacher orientation. That's always nice. I love meeting with new teachers. They're starry-eyed and they just can't wait to change the world. We paired all new teachers with mentors per the CPS mentoring program. We provided opportunities for 20 teachers to attend IB training in August. We balanced principal-directed time between school goals and CPS initiatives. CPS basically, and I added up the hours, Scott, it's a little over 9 hours of PD they want our staff to do, which is I think getting a little excessive now. It used to be like a couple hours, then we do an hour, and it was like 5 hours, but now it's 9 hours of these videos. So they mandated the principals, and they said the staff is supposed to do it in their self-directed time. They sent us an email, and I said, you know what, I have a couple hours here. So we gave them 4.5 hours that first week to do it, and I also didn't have any principal-directed preps that first period to helpfully get them. Right now, which is nice, 70% of our teachers are finished with all of the modules right now, which is good. They have until the end of the month to do it. So it's a lot. I got to be honest, I'm not done with mine yet, but I'm getting there. But it's interesting. I did talk to, we did mention at the PPLC that they're going to bring it to the union, because some of these modules are stuff that I don't think the teachers really need to know. You know, they don't need to spend 73 minutes on how the procurement process happens. They just need to know, how do I get my 250? Basically. So they're going to try to limit it to what teachers actually need to know. So hopefully we can get some traction with that. We had TCTs leads, and we'll be taking all CPS virtual leadership summits. This Thursday, William Howard Taft's birthday. I know everybody has it on their calendar, 165 years. I believe we're going to sing happy birthday to him over the intercom on Tuesday, or on Thursday. Homecoming game and dance this year. Mr. Glowitz and I were just at the Rosemont Convention Center, and it is awesome. I'm telling you, I just can't. I'm just going to sit there and just watch the kids get off this elevator and just go, OMG. That means, oh my God, in teenager talk. Oh my God. And it's going to be so much fun to watch them, and then go into this banquet hall, which is 8 banquet halls with a DJ with the and it's just going to be so much fun. Another memory we're going to make for these kids. It's going to be awesome. So, and then of course with the homecoming game against Lane on Friday. If anybody here wants to go to the game, it's going to get sold out. It's probably sold out in a couple of minutes. Let me know, and I will get you tickets to get into the game. Okay, and if you got to bring a couple of people, let me know. We always have room for you to get the LSC in there. Friday is a principal directed day, non-attendance day for students, so Friday off. And then Friday is first time ever in the history of Taft. We're going to have a food truck Friday here, out by door number 4. We're going to get some food trucks out there and let the kids go out there and get some. Something quick. I mean, I can't be like, I want a taco with sour cream, and we can't do that stuff because it's going to take too long. So it's going to be like quick ice cream bars and ice and Italian ice and things that they can do quick. But get them out of the thing, because I would eventually like to have every food truck Friday if we can. So this is kind of, let's test in the water here. Let's see if no one's running off to Norwood Park or anything. So we'll see how the kids are going to do. My kids are always excellent like that. I do want to say that the Student Voice Committee started on yesterday on this campus. I don't know where we want to put that on. I don't see it on here, so we mention it right now since it could be part of our spotlight. So Princess, you want to talk about Student Voice Committee? Because I don't know if there's a standing item on here. Let me see if there is. I don't see it, so let's maybe put a Student Voice Committee on there. Princess, let's talk about right after my report. Okay. So that's it for my report. And Princess, what did we talk about yesterday?
So yesterday was LSC, and basically we're really excited to get started. We're really focused on student engagement this year, getting more students from different backgrounds into the club so we can hear different opinions. We did a survey asking about the different identities for the people that are currently in the group, like what do they represent? Like, for example, like I represent Black students and Afro-Caribbean students. Then there's another person who represents IB students, and we're trying to look for more ways we can incorporate other students, like more Latinx students, more male students, more non-binary students, so we can hear how they're feeling. And something interesting that was brought up by Mr. Tuggle was that he asked us if any of us have been sent to the dean's office, and like no one raised their hand because like we've never gotten in trouble. And he was like, well, that's important because you need to hear those voices.
Yes.
Because a lot of times they're excluded, and we don't really know what they need to do better. So that's something that we're really trying to push this year. And we're really going to be action oriented, making sure that we get things done. And yeah, I feel like last year we were trying, but this year we're trying to like work on realistic goals. So that's basically what we're looking forward to for this year.
Thank you, Princess. We have Ms. Minor here, who's one of the moderators along with Mr. Tuggle. So they've had their first meeting yesterday. When is the freshman meeting?
It's going to be that first Monday in October. I really forget the date, but I've been emailing them, and because I want to make sure, like, if I'm talking too much, let me know.
No.
We want to make sure that their voice isn't like pushed down because they're older students here and they're not used to interacting.
Right.
So I'm really excited about getting it started there, and so their real voice can come out and not feel like they're being covered by that. So it's going to be really exciting.
Right, and that was one of the benefits of having the freshman academy. When we met with New Trier, when we were opening the freshman academy, I talked to the principal. I said, "What are we missing?" You know, because I was asking her, "What if?" And she goes, "What you're missing is that the freshmen will develop their leadership skills before they would normally get them at a regular campus, because before they're kind of shy to get involved because everybody else is there. So they're going to develop the leadership there. So I'm looking to see some future leaders over there."
Emailed me,
So-
they are advocating, and I was like,
Right. Just
Say when you guys meet and all that.
oh, yes, so the first two meetings, because we didn't understand the outcome, it is meeting in the forum. And then after that, we're going to find a classroom that's conducive for discussion.
Okay.
And we're really working on just, the communication aspect, how to communicate with the opposing views, how to be able to dialogue in a constructive way. So we really got to know each other and understand what voices are represented. And we're gonna work on marketing next meeting on how to reach those voices that aren't included, and maybe can't be because they're athletes and have practice. How can we reach them, but maybe not become members? So the students are brainstorming that, because, so it's on Mondays after school, 3 to 4:30 in the forum. And then we're gonna find, an alternative if we need a smaller, more dialogue-based area after that.
thanks, Ms. Meyer. I'm excited to have that. Before I pass to the next one, do we have anybody here that was in charge of sports updates? Did anybody take that role? You got it. Do you have a sports update?
Not just one.
Oh, you don't have?
ask Mr. Kessler.
Okay, I'll just brag on a couple of teams. A freshman played yesterday versus Simeon and they won. A good win over a good Simeon team. Last week they beat Loyola, and we know how good Loyola is, so they beat that team. Our girls volleyball team is doing wonderful. Brittany Ware, I think they're undefeated right now. They won the tournament over at Oak Park River Forest. Boys softball beat some school on Addison 20-4. And then they also beat Bulls Academy like 25-0. But here's what I really want to brag about, and it warmed my heart more than anything I've seen in many years. We were up like 18-0, and the guys would hit like a line shot through the gap to where you could probably get a triple or a home run, and the coach was saying stop, and he would stop him at first base, and then the other kid would do something, and he didn't jump on him. He was doing sportsmanship. Like the other guy would get like a clear double. No, go to second base. And it wasn't humiliating to the team. It was what you should do when you're playing an inferior team like that. So it really made me proud. It was proud as when our girls soccer team wore green to protest when Lane was kicked out of that tournament. And so that's what Taft's all about. So I just wanted to brag on that real quick. Before I pass on to the next thing, I know we do have Alderman Spazzato here, and Alderman Spazzato was also at the freshman academy when Mr. Martinez came from here. He stayed here for an hour, and then he went to the freshman academy. We met Nick. So I know Nick is a busy man, so I'm hoping everybody can let him talk. If you wanted to talk, Nick, or you want to wait, I'm going to leave it up to you. You want to say anything right now?
I'll talk now, doesn't make a difference.
I know you'll talk,
I
yeah.
didn't come here just to rush in.
Oh, I know that. I know, but I want to be respectful of your time.
I'm all caught up with everything on the.
Yeah.
I just wanted to come by and say hi to everybody, let you know who I am. I want to thank everybody for volunteering for this thankless job. Of course, if I knew my neighbor here, I could have came with somebody, but I didn't know she was on the state. So, and we have many new faces. Only a few faces I recognize here. So that's all it is. Just thank everybody. I know you got a big game coming up this weekend. A big game with the Lane Tech, who's been a powerhouse forever. So
No, they haven't. No, they haven't. No, they haven't. We beat them 3 times last year, Nick. Just a correction.
It's a big accomplishment. We can talk about beat Simeon and Loyola. I mean, they're
Okay.
certainly 2 football powerhouses.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a good things are to come. You know, I don't know if everybody knows this, we have a professional baseball player,
Right.
that's from Taft now, that had started off pretty decent, but then he got sent down and he came back. I know his parents are from my neighborhood where, you know, where I grew up, you know, Montclair Gale was, so he was doing pretty well. He got off to an awesome start, and it's just great to see good things. And so I'm just here to say who I am. Thank everybody. I did have one question though, and I don't know how to ask this question, but I'm going to ask it right out. So, you know, we had that meeting at the school, and, you know, everything went pretty good, but, you know, I noticed the way some people in particular were dressed, and it was like inquiring. So I guess my question is maybe to you, Mark, or maybe, I don't know who, what are the teachers, but is there like no dress codes in the schools anymore? I mean, you can't say anything to kids anymore?
No, we have a dress code. We don't have a uniform code. There used to be a uniform code when we first started here, which was khaki pants and either a blue or gray shirt. We got rid of that right away. Once we became a level 1 school, we loosened up a little bit more, where we would let them wear sandals. When we became our second year of being recognized by U.S. News and World Report, we let them wear hats in the building. So it has loosened up. My attitude on that is this generation will always push the boundaries of the generation. In the 60s, the ladies were wearing jeans and it was, oh my God. In the 70s, they were wearing hot pants. Oh my God. In the 80s, it was halter tops. Oh my God. They're always going to push the limit like here. And again, we can still teach when the kids are what some adults consider not appropriately dressed. Now, when it's totally not, really what the one little key is, we don't want to see underwear and undergarments. Okay, when that's when we kind of step in and say, listen, you're going to have to put something on like that. Okay.
Funny you say hot pants, because that was the one thing that I noticed kind of stuck out at me, and it was kind of in my face. And that was a young lady, or obviously she's only a freshman, walking around with Daisy Dukes. And I was somewhat surprised to see that. And I know you're in a tough position. And I was at the meeting when you went to the hat thing, and you know,
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of young kids wearing hats in school or when you go out to dinner or church or whatever, but that's just me. I'm old fashioned. I'm an old guy. But I just was a little, and I know your hands are tied, and was just a little baffled by it. I mean, I know there's not much you could do.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know if you notify parents. You say, hey, look, Mary or Johnny, you feel they're a little, you can't even do that.
We do, and what's amazing sometimes is the parents will say, that's not how we went to school, and we go, well, understand how you drop them off is not always how they arrive. Okay, sometimes they go to the bathroom. Oh, I get that a lot. Yeah, but I will tell you this, because I'm gonna stick up for my kids. For as many kids that push the limit in the inappropriate way, there's kids that are like dressing up to the other side. I got you.
I just noticed one kid. Just happened to notice one kid.
Yeah.
Everybody was well behaved. You know, just awesome things going on. Just basically just want to thank everybody for stepping up for this.
Yeah.
It's a thankless job. Terrible pay for this job. You know, and just thanks for stepping up. And I know you had a pretty new council, and just hang in there. And good things can continue to happen for this school. So
Thanks, Nick. And for all the new members, Nick is a fierce advocate for us, especially at the freshman academy. He's always getting us extra police officers when at the beginning of school or at dismissal time. So thank you, Nick, for all you do for us.
Crazy parents at every school. So
It is.
all of you that get grammar school parents, I'm sure no one of your grammar schools. It's just like it's baffling to me. It's because who's driving like idiots by the school? The parents. These aren't strangers driving around. It's the parents. So,
I know.
it's just crazy. But yeah, thank you everybody. Thanks for all you're doing.
All right. Thanks, Nick. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for coming, Alden.
Yeah. And that would be the end of my reports. Yes. Oh, well, is that next? I thought it was down on the agenda more. Okay, but I will say this though. I saw it on here. We have our committee reports, and then in 6 we have our Lang and Lit department and our IBDB department. Can we have a change of order to where I can have my department chairs talk about their departments and then go home a little earlier if we can? Anybody have a problem with that at all?
No.
All right, good. Who wants to go first? Mr. Will, you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for letting me come in and share a little bit about the Lang and Lit department. Here for you on the slides there. We got a picture up there of our department that's from the beginning of the year. We've got 30 teachers in the language and literature department now. Sometimes people call us the English department, so you know it's synonymous. There's our new logo there on the left. We made that this summer, the blue pink. You go to the next slide here. Little overview for us. I'm the chairperson. I'm Brian Will. Our course team leads are listed up there. We've got Elaine Delier over at the TFA, 5th grade. Gina O'Neill is our course team lead for 10th. We've got Barb Newton and Kate Agacon at the 11th grade level, and Jeremy Tuggle at the 12th grade level. Our department office is in room 196 in the back. And then my phone extension is 24601. My email is bpwill@cps.edu. So if there's anything I say during this short presentation, or if anything should pop up over the course of the year and you want to reach out to me, feel free to do so. You go to the next slide, Eric. A couple of our goals for the school year and onward. We're looking to continue to grow our elective options. We did add one new one this year, literature, which we're excited about. The second thing there is just to continue to add diversity to our curriculum. Mr. Shaver asked us to do a curriculum audit 2 years ago, where we had all the teachers list all of the topics that we teach from 7th through 12th grade, and we broke it down by race and gender to see, just to ensure that we're presenting a diverse curriculum to our students. We try to use canonical and contemporary texts in our curriculum as much as possible. Sometimes even pairing them is really nice. We find it matches the IB framework nicely too. It's a goal of ours to continue to mentor new teachers. We've actually hired 15 new teachers in our department in the last 3 school years, so that's like a really big number. And that's a thing that's ongoing for us. We're looking to open our writing center. Tanya Trevetti, Gina O'Neill, and Abigail Glickman will be heading that up, where students can get some tutoring and support with essay writing and like throughout the school day. Unit plan revision. We've been revising curriculum quite a bit over the past few years. I do want to thank the LSC for approving some of our big book orders. And we've spent quite a bit of money on books over the past few years, so we're really excited about that. We want to continue to just clarify our vertical sequence with our skills, from grammar to text and image analysis stuff. That's stuff that we're continuing to do from grades 7 through 12, me and the course team leads. You can go to the next slide, Eric. Here's a list of our course sequence. 7th grade, our students take language arts, the AC, and then in 8th grade, they take English 1. 9 through 12 is our incoming, like if you're a freshman not coming from an academic center, you would start in English 1 and then go to English 2. 11th through 12th now, we are having our students group. We've got in the lane and lit courses, so they stay with the same teacher for those 2 courses in those 2 years, which is exciting for the students and for the teachers as well. Our electives are listed up there. As I said earlier, that's an area we are just regularly trying to grow. We've got film studies, creative writing, and literature, yearbook, and newspaper. Some of the opportunities our students have, one, to take advanced courses to earn college credit, and weighted GPA from IB to dual credit and honors, writing photograph events through our yearbook and newspaper classes / program with Ms. Marshall and Mr. McKinney. Enjoy our electives. We hope that writing center that I mentioned earlier, we hope to have students plugged in and give them opportunities to serve as mentors and tutors in that throughout the school day. We're writing competitions and poetry events that we advertise regularly to our students. Ms. Oswald and Ms. Taylor are really good at making us aware of these things. We've got several clubs that people in our department sponsor. This list here is not exhaustive, but it's just some of them, from horror to Dungeons and Dragons, the Gay Straight Alliance Book Club, and anime. Some of those staff are listed there. And then finally, some celebrations from our department. We've got 5 teachers who are nationally board certified. Mr. Julie, Mr. Santian, Mrs. Oda, Mr. Schreiner, and Ms. Student. We've got Ms. Taylor and Ms. Munoz working and nearly completed their national board certification. Last year, of our 408 juniors who took the IB language and literature course, we had over 90% of them complete the individual oral examination. I think Ms. Thomas will probably highlight that and mention that as well. So that was a huge success for our department. that was the benchmark we had set at the beginning of the year, and we were really excited to get there to help. Ms. Condos, our administration, and our teaching staff worked so hard to make things like that happen. Our CPS mentor program, we've got 5 teachers enrolled, the new CPS mentor program. Dr. Carmona, Mr. Dooley, Ms. Wilsinski, Ms. Munoz, and me. And then we're always excited to continue our partnerships with universities around the city for student teachers and student observers. Northeastern, Loyola, UIC, DePaul, and Park. So we're juggling a lot of just dealing with universities and getting student teachers in to get their student teaching done and get their hours of patients. And then finally, like just in a very general sense, putting books in kids' hands. That's why a lot of us come into this profession. So we're very excited to be able to continue to do that. And that's all I've got. Pass it over to Condos for the IB diploma.
Hello, everyone. My name is Irene Condos. I'm the IB Diploma Coordinator here at Taft. And I know many of you, when you first hear of IB, this is probably the first program that you think of, which is the diploma program. We've had the diploma program here at Taft since 2001. But the diploma program is only one of 3 of the IB programs that we offer here. We also offer the middle years program as well as the CP program. And by offering all of these programs for all of our students, we are considered the 4th largest IB world school, which is quite an accomplishment for all students to really have a sense of what it is to really acquire the skills that are going to be necessary for them to be successful, not only in an academic environment, but also, looking at things in acquiring those softer skills that are necessary in the workforce and the post-secondary venue that they would continue on to. The diploma program can't be successful without the staff members, and it has grown over time. We have 2 teachers that are sitting on the LSC who have been involved in the program over time as well, and can talk about the value as well as how successful students are, the experiences, how valuable those experiences are to them down the road. This program wouldn't be successful without the teachers that are involved, the dedication that's also involved. So, some of our goals are to, as we're growing, to offer greater opportunities for students to be part of the program. Traditionally, students would join the program through the 9th grade through the Go CPS application process, and that used to be the only avenue in for students to have access for the full diploma program. As an IB World School, we are looking at ways of expanding those opportunities for students who are currently Taft students who are looking for that challenge and want to take on more rigorous coursework over the 11th and 12th grade. We're also looking at expanding our course offerings and the levels. When we first started the program, there was only 1 course offering per subject area. Now students actually have some choice, and we do listen to what students' interests are and look into offering these opportunities for students so that way they have a much more balanced course book as well as have a balanced subject overview for all of the subjects. We're also looking at students participating in more than 1 diploma course. We've talked about the language and literature course for all. That's an expansion that we have started, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as well, but really benefiting from taking those advanced level classes in the 11th and 12th grade across the subject areas. Again, in the past, it was mainly for students who were full diploma candidates, but now students who have an interest in a particular subject area have that opportunity to partake in an IB diploma course and potentially earn college credit depending on the university that they're looking into. Next slide, please. So this kind of gives you a quick synopsis of what the courses look like for a student who is in the full diploma program. So it's very much like a liberal arts curriculum. We're going to take advanced level classes in all of the subject areas. They do have some choice in some of the subject areas. We have expanded, for example, the science areas. We have more course offerings in our language acquisition. We've also expanded to Mandarin as one of the options that students can continue on for their 4 years. So all of these courses are for the 11th and 12th grade students. They are 2-year courses with the exception of 3 of our courses that are 1-year courses. Students do sit for examinations at the end of the coursework, as well as complete coursework in the classroom with the guidance of their instructors that is submitted to the IB in order to attain a score that could potentially get them some of that course credit. A full diploma candidate, again, this is what their profile would look like, but they're also looking at not only focusing on academics, they're looking at developing the student into a well-rounded individual, and IB really emphasizes students finding areas of interest through creativity, activity, and service. So again, IB is looking to develop students who are going to be balanced. There's this misconception that, oh, the IB diploma program or these advanced level classes are only for, you know, the high achieving students, and that's really not the case. We have had students who have come back multiple times from universities to speak to students to say, you know, yes, I may have had challenges, you know, going through the coursework, but I had the support from my teachers in a 2-year course sequence that now, when I have transitioned to college, it's the case. And that's really what we're looking to do, is prepare students for their next endeavor. There are universities that offer specific scholarships, so students are recognized for participating in the IB diploma program. That's also another misconception that is all about attaining the IB diploma. But again, it's really going through the program, acquiring the skills, and being recognized for taking challenging coursework in the 11th and 12th grade in order to be prepared on their college campuses. That's really what they're looking for, is for students to be successful there. They don't want students to just walk onto campus and then not have the skills to be successful, and then, you know, go through these experiences for the first time when they do get to college. Next slide, please. So some student opportunities. Our students have the IB student leadership. So it's really run by the students. It's an opportunity for either peer mentoring. Many of the students will go out to the community and talk to others about the program. Our CAST experience, again, creativity, activity, and service, allowing students to kind of explore areas of interest and helping each other, you know, with that participation and getting active again. I think after coming back from COVID and a lot of the restrictions that kind of threw everyone off a little bit, and this again is giving the opportunity for students to come together and experience many of these areas of interest and passion with one another. Holidays around the world for the last 2 years, or the 2 events that we've had, were run by our students and working with the various clubs and cultural clubs that we have at the school. And it's a fun time for everyone to come together and celebrate everyone's diversity. Again, university organizations that and organizations that we work with in the past include DePaul. They're a very IB-friendly school, and they have various programs such as College Connect. That is something that's offered to all students, but they always come out seeking IB students, you know, to see them succeed in the program. The Summer College Academy, which is an opportunity for students to work on their college essays between their junior and senior year. That's specific for IB diploma students. University of Chicago has hosted an IB summit. The last couple of years it was virtual, but prior to that they would specifically invite IB diploma students off onto their campus to meet some of the professors and some of the alumni from various schools who are, on their campus and to kind of get that college experience. Prep to Succeed is an organization that works with students who are looking to get some ECT prep. And again, the founder has reached out, for the IB diploma students. And again, there are scholarships that, are available to students at many of the universities. And that's something that we're trying to highlight a little bit more as well. Next slide, please. So some of the celebrations that we had. So last year, coming back to in-person learning and having students complete the various assessments and sit for examinations, we had 98% completion rate for the students who sat for those examinations in May of 22. So that was, the majority of the students were seniors, but we also had a handful of juniors. So that's quite an accomplishment, coming back and having the opportunity to demonstrate, that, they had the ability to do well. As far as our 2022 graduates, we had a 73% pass rate to earn the IB diploma. And again, these rates and this information comes out well after they have graduated, well after they have been accepted to universities. So I always tell students, this is a bonus, right? Going through the program and getting the experience and the skills, that's the valuable piece, right? And that's what's most important. This is just like the icing on the cake, which some universities then might give them additional funding, or they might give them an invitation to a program, or it varies. But really, it's what they're walking away with that's really important. Overall, 72% of our students earned a 4 or higher. The scale is out of 7, so 4 is considered passing in IB terms. So again, our students are successful, and having students participate in these 2-year courses is something that we want to encourage, so that way they can reap the benefits as well. Of all of our subjects, we had 5, so we have 12. We offered 12 diploma subjects. 5 of them exceeded the global average. So again, we're doing good work. The teachers are doing really well, and they're really the ones who are getting the kids excited about learning and having that opportunity to demonstrate that in the variety of ways. Just a list of some of the schools that students have gotten into. We had a student also get into Yale, which we were really excited. Student was super involved as well in a variety of things. And this is just like a short list of some of the universities that they've gotten into. We talked about the expansion of language and literature for all. And, what really kind of started this talk and this initiative, there was a change in the curriculum. And, the teachers really looked at the curriculum and said, this can be accessible to all students. It's really, the approach to how you instruct the students, with the types of literature that you're using, the non-literature pieces that are being used, the discussions that are being had. Every student can benefit from this. So we have started the rollout for the language and literature for all. So our current seniors, we have 408 out of 1,000 seniors that are currently participating in language and literature. As far as our juniors, we kept the same for this year, just so we can work out any kinks that we might have in terms of all of the assessments, rolling out the assessments. But again, our goal is by school year 25 for all of our students to participate regardless of level, because again, I think we all believe that all of our students can be successful in this program, in this course, in the language and literature course. I think that might be it.
Thank you. Any questions to our department chairs?
I have a question that I think goes to both of you, which is when it comes to college essays, very good college essays. When do you all, I know usually English, the English department helps with that, but I know sometimes with the IB students that happens in a different way or maybe a little bit further, senior year is so tight. How do you guys approach college essays when you start working on that? Are there any summer programs? Like obviously the fall one was just for the IB students, but you know, how does that?
I can speak to that briefly. Our first unit at the senior level is a memoir unit, and so we really focus on like teaching skills, like creative, first person kind of like memoir writing with them. We have students reading Crying in HMR by Michelle Zahner, and the other book is The Men We Read by Jasmine Ward. But part of that unit is to really develop the skills of like creative first person writing that they'll need for those college essays, personal statements, being able to write with a little bit of flair, while also kind of like saying something about yourself. And so we also approach that in slightly different ways, but that's kind of like a goal behind that unit. It's the unit that all of our seniors are currently involved in senior level, so that's kind of nice. In some courses, I think in senior seminar, they do a little bit more direct with the personal statements.
Does it do all the seniors besides the IB students have senior seminar, or is that just?
Do you want me to?
Do you want to talk about
I
this?
can talk about this.
Yeah.
I'm a senior seminar teacher this year too. And I know that we, at our meetings, have been talking about, there is a couple of, we found out there's 200 students that are missing in senior seminar out of the team. So we just put in for the club charter for a college prep because we're trying to reach all those students. A lot of them we found out are EL, which is English language learners. A couple of them are just in like the CP program. They want just a little more help. So we are just getting started. Mr. Salias, who's AVIC coordinator, but also the team lead for the senior seminar, is partnering with me in that, and there's students that have asked. So that will get started in about 2 weeks on Monday. And there's also a Dreamers Club for the students that have different forms they have to fill out because of status. So, and that we coordinate a lot because we meet with them every 2 weeks so that we can make sure all those students are reached. And we are individually talking about every single one of those students. We have a master list of all the seniors, and we start checking off all the requirements for graduation. It's very specific about what they're doing and how we reach that and the requirements. So we just brought in personal essays. Love that. Coordinating it.
As far as the students that are full diploma candidates, they also take a course called the Theory of Knowledge. And in their senior year, they also have a little bit of that flexibility where they have that opportunity where it might be maybe once every other week where they might have the chance to work on their college essays or working on college applications. We have partnered with the counseling department to come in for additional support because of the diploma students having very specific questions and a lot of time coming out and fielding those questions, coming into the Theory of Knowledge class to work with the students on that. We have aligned all of the students' lunch periods to be 7th periods, so that also gives them an opportunity if they need a space. We're using the forum as kind of like a space where students can come in. I have a Chromebook cart, if they at least want to get started on working on whether it's homework or college applications, but working with the counselors too, hand in hand, has been helpful for the students as well.
Yeah, I also wanted to add that I'm in IB English, but I'm on like the IB program. But the first 2 weeks of school, we kind of just like went over what it looks like to tell a story, like good storytellers. And then we worked on our essay, and then Mr. Tungo, Mr. Vera, and our student teacher, Ms. Whitlock, they've been like reviewing our essays, so we have been getting help for the upcoming essay.
I just know that like with the IBDP seniors, there's a lot going on, and I feel like they probably need to start with that common app essay. They probably need to start a little sooner since they're probably applying by November 1st, and then they're probably needing to write additional essay.
So I'm just wondering, like your, first, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Will. Thank you, Irene. If you guys want to head out, we're more than understanding. We've only been here 14 hours, so. Before I move on, I forgot to do my budget report, so let me do that real quick. It will take less than 3 minutes here. So, like when we went over in the budget committee, anytime we have an expense over $10,000, I need LSC approval. So the first one we have is $15,500. It should be in there. That's for our homecoming DJ. The second one is our Village of Rosemont for the rental of the Rosemont Convention Center was $10,000. And then internal accounts for NewsLaw was $12,000. So those three. So before I move on to the book transfers, any questions? Go ahead.
I didn't think of it earlier during the budget.
Uh-huh.
What are we getting with this DJ? Because it costs more than the room we're camping in, and it's kind of surprising.
Yeah, we've actually paid more for previous DJs in our gym, but right now I believe that the price was about $8,000, and we went back to him and said, listen, we have 8 banquet halls. This isn't just a regular banquet hall. So he had to get additional speakers to surround the whole room. And then we also said, you know what, the kids are paying $20. We want a $20 experience. So he went and he got the lighting crew from the Bulls to actually make the lighting show just unbelievable for the kids. So that's what we're paying for. Any other questions? All right, let's move on to book transfers. So we have transfer 15,000. Anytime we have a transfer, I have to get approval also. $15,500 for DJ services. Instructional fees to pay athletic supplies, $27,720. Not unusual for the beginning of the year to get our sports programs running and get a lot of equipment that they need. And then NewsLaw, of course, $12,000. The last budget transfers, I spoke about them in the budget committee meeting. We have, I believe it's $215,000 in something called payroll, a payroll bucket. If I don't separate that now, come October 1st, CPS will come and lop off, whittle away about 10% of that, saying, well, they're for payroll and you're not going to need them all year right now, so we might as well take some of the money back. So this way I kind of take it away from CPS's accounting department, where they're not going to come and whittle it away. We kind of move it around like a shell game into some other accounts right then. If we do need to hire additional payroll, we will come here and I will ask for another budget transfer back into payroll so we can hire. So that's what those numbers are there right there. Any questions at all?
Well, I have a question.
Go ahead. NewsLaw is a service. Go, Rachel. Because you can brag on it better than I can.
No, maybe someone else.
No, you go.
I use it and it's
Go ahead.
effective because it, especially like if I went on a field trip today. So I put in an article that talks about like this imposter syndrome, and it was at different reading levels. So students, sometimes at the beginning of the year, I let them choose the level because then they feel more comfortable with it, but then it starts assessing what level they're reading at, and they can move up, and then I can set it for them. They also have those interactive type of videos in there where you can, it stops and it will start asking questions to see if you retain the information. It can read out loud. It's all different topics, from like graffiti artists to, I mean, it's just, it's a lot of
Science,
science,
history.
It's really, it's a good source for additional information if you want to supplement some of the information that you're giving in the class. It's a good useful.
Rachel, let me ask you this for my own thing. So if a child was at a 10th grade level and it assesses them at a 10th grade level, will it give them their next thing at a 10.2 level? Was it kind of bump them up a little bit or keep them the same?
It will start setting up, especially if you're, because there's, I'm sorry, I should say this, there's quizzes with that. So that's how they assess that.
Okay.
Along with writing level. So it matters if the teacher wants them to write about it, then the teacher can start, and you can set those as a teacher.
Okay.
So that's where it gets more involved.
Yeah, we did a survey at the beginning of the year, Princess, when we talked to all the teachers about what they wanted, and NewsLaw was one of the ones they wanted, along with the CAMI, where they can annotate their notes. So yeah, it's well done. Any questions at all on budget?
Actually, I know it's academically curated, so it's like you could force find, like you would Google a topic and you find some sources, but you would be curating that and going through it all yourself. So it's like already like academically curated.
It's a very good deal for the students and It's even a better deal than the DJ. All right, I'll shut up. Go ahead.
I have a question further down. I don't know if I should ask it after we approve, it's just further down in the budget.
Let's go.
Okay, so we, at the, towards the last, like the last page, back to the last page, we have ACT prep and we have SAT food. I know we administer the SAT. here.
Is this an internal accounts, Alex?
This is under internal. account.
Okay, so what page?
It's the second to the last page.
Okay, page 4.
Kind of in the middle, ACT prep comes first and then a little further down is SAT food. And so I'm just curious, because I know we administer the SAT.
Yeah.
We have money in ACT prep, but we have no money in SAT. Do we do anything with those?
Jen, can you answer that? Can you do anything with SAT? Well, first of all, I know we got the ACT test right there, $31,000. CPS is now picking up that cost. So this is from a couple of years in the past. So this is probably 10 years of accrued money in AP testing, but now CPS picks it up. So we're not spending any of that. Jen, anything on SAT?
I think that the SAT food was from the boot camp. A year ago. That we check out, like this was like pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
Those are after school things, right? Yeah. I remember.
Is it answering that?
But Alex, you're saying there's $16,000.
Right, I'm saying there's
ACT prep.
$16,000 under ACT prep, and since we administer the SAT, I was just wondering that $16,760, if we would want to move that to like SAT food and offer some assistance to students who are like juniors who are trying to be taking the SAT, or if that's just something to think about.
Yeah, we can talk about that. I haven't cleaned up this account yet since
Yeah.
the beginning of the year, but normally like in October, November, I'll go through and compare it to last year, like what wasn't spent, and that one would stick out to me to where we'll move it. I usually moved it to capital investments to where we can build up the school, but I will look at that. That's a good idea. Good catch.
Another thing I have to add is this, isn't that in this, the security position? Let's see.
I didn't see it there also. Okay, Mr. Charles also has a position on here, a $50,000 position for security. We offered one more security position here, which we need. So, okay. Yeah. Okay, so we can put it in there. No other questions on budget? All right, thanks, everybody.
Want to vote?
I'll make a motion to accept the budget transfers presented by Mr. Berger.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? All right, motion passes.
Committees?
So there's a chair report on here. I don't have much to say other than I brought it up before the meeting. Are we, is there a plan, or has CPS talked to you about the additional student members that the LSC is now supposed to have?
We're going to have an election, I think, soon, right? Because we need 2.
Is that going to be a school-based election, or
It
does
will be a
CPS
school-based election, yeah.
Okay.
I did ask Luis, can we have one at the freshman academy and for representation over there and one over here? And he said, you can't limit it like that. Whoever wins the majority of the vote wins it.
So I also talked to Luis, and
Okay.
something interesting that he mentioned was that he's seen schools slate candidates. And so I'm not in favor of slating in general, but in this situation, if we do an informal primary, so to speak, at the freshman academy, and then we have an informal primary here, then at least the students know which student the freshman academy would like to have, and we can share that information as kind of a primary type of thing.
I like that. Anybody else have anything? I like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good way around that. Yeah,
All right.
perfect.
Okay, thanks.
Mhm.
And, all right, so.
Goes up. Yeah, Eric and I will talk and we'll,
Yeah, we'll touch base now, touch base with Diaz.
yeah, we also need a, who is our position here that she had to step down?
Our staff.
Our staff rep had to step down, so we need a new staff rep. Ms. Diaz is putting her name into the fold, but I think I need to go to the staff to see if anybody else wants to run.
Yeah, it'd be-
Next bulletin, anybody wants to run for that, but she had to step down. Okay, so we're also missing that position.
All right.
Well, what do you think the time limit is for getting the students on the LSC?
I would hope by next time.
Maybe.
Yeah, we can do it by next time. I mean, this week's crazy with homecoming, but then it lightens up a little bit.
Cool. And you have posted that the student reps have until this month to.
Post it.
Yeah.
To apply, exactly all the paperwork and submits for, and then go for the elections.
I would love to have like they would make speeches at the freshman academy. I would love to have the kids up there making speeches. Okay.
All right. So, to the committee chair reports, do we have a budget committee chair? Does anybody want to be the budget committee chair?
We should probably divvy that up because I think we were missing some people. So we can maybe divvy up the committees right now.
Anyone?
Do we have a facilities committee? You're the facilities committee chair. Is that covered by? Sorry, not
Kathy, no, I don't have anything there.
No, the man, gentleman. next.
Dean?
Mr. Dean Gordon?
Yeah, weren't you saying that you would be the facilities chair? I don't know why I thought you said that. You said- I thought you said-
Well, I think we should divvy them up now.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm the safety and security chair, so I can say that was safe.
okay.
All right. Budget, anybody?
I can't rely on.
Sure. Yeah. All right. I can take that on if other people take on other things.
You shouldn't take on anything.
I'd prefer not.
Yeah. You really
Yeah.
shouldn't take on anything else.
When are these meetings?
They're direct, so I'm sorry, sure. So the budget committee hearing, the budget committee meetings take place at 5:30 immediately before the regular LSC meeting. So it'd just be, you'd be here starting at 5:30 instead of 6:30, and that would, and then you'd tell us at the LSC meeting what happened during the budget meeting.
Right, and then explain to me what the other ones are. I want a choice.
The facilities committee is at 4:30, right before the budget meeting. And that one is where we get information on how the building is doing, the campus, things that need to be repaired around the facility, and the status of those repairs.
I would like to say though, that that's not a meeting in stone, that if someone was gonna take facilities and would wanna do it maybe the Monday at 3:00 or some other time, it's up to the facilities person to choose it. That just happens to be what it's been the last couple of years.
I got Monday at three, Rick.
You got Monday at 3 for the PPLC?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just wanna let you know, it's not in stone.
I'll take the budget.
Thank you, Kate.
I'll explain it to you too, and we could, I'll go.
All right. So she's got budget. Anyone want to do facilities?
We just make Mr. Levin come and give the report.
That would be a lot.
I know.
If you don't mind, I can have Mr. Levins fill out a report and I can read it.
Totally.
That's fine. For right now. 'Cause
Okay.
we
For
can get
sure.
somebody- Maybe the staff rep will.
Yeah.
Want to be the facilities person.
Yeah, he was an English department chair. He can do that.
Okay.
Now, do we have somebody doing Friendsville Taft as the, that report? I feel like somebody took something at that summer meeting.
No, I don't know. I don't know if anyone was doing that.
Sure. All right, Mary said she'll take it.
All right. Thank you.
And that is usually just they don't,
There's
all the
no,
time, like they'll submit stuff, or you can ask them to come, they have some rules they have to follow about submitting things to the LSC, but you can ask them.
The
if you
back-
want
the
them
back?
to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get a report from them too with Melissa. Yeah, I'll get that report also.
But that's not like an LSC person.
What are we down to?
All right, I think that covers it. Yeah.
We got safety and
Safety and
security.
security is Lisa Villa.
Thank you, Mr. Booth.
All right, well, that covered. Do we want to hear from the PPLC?
I hope so.
Are we gonna vote on it?
Ready.
The PPLC is made up of 9 Taft teachers and counselors elected by their peers. We met yesterday to make recommendations based on our goals, working directly with our students. We make these recommendations to this LSC and to our administration. First thing we recommended was about more interactive training on restorative conversations. And we provided advice to the administration about what would be most helpful in these training sessions. Mr. Drescher told us that Mr. Spear is planning something with the CPS Social and Emotional Learning Office, but could not at this time provide details or dates, so they're in the works. We hope that this training comes soon because it's much needed to maintain order in the classroom, but even more importantly, public spaces like hallways and the scary bathrooms.
I've got the update on that.
Excellent. Dealing with defiant students is always a challenge, but we want to do it right. I'll pause here if you have an update.
No, it's in the safety and security thing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
All right.
he met today with the.
I don't want to steal your thunder then. Yep.
Well, I see more training, so I have training questions.
Cool.
When you get.
Excellent. Number 2, we recommended training on instructional best practices for large class sizes. Many of our classes are considered oversized classrooms. We want to provide students with personalized support. We further recommend to this LSC right here, right now, that all budgeting decisions be made with the goal of making class sizes smaller and functional so students can get the attention they deserve. Mr. Grishaber asked us to survey the staff to gauge demand for a PD on how we can better learn how to instruct our students in such an environment. Number 3, we were given over, I counted because we've been talking about it, 701 minutes in my case of online training from CPS this fall. We've been told by CPS, not by Mr. Grishaber, but by CPS, to do it during our lesson preparation and grading time. Mr. Grishaber has given us 4.5 hours to complete this training so far. We requested a few more hours to make up for the 701 minutes. This request was regretfully denied because the administration said they had a directive from CPS not to allow any additional time. So we have to use our preparation and grading time.
Sorry, what's the online training for?
Online training covers a variety of things CPS wants us to be trained for the year.
Oh, for the school year.
Yeah, the most exciting one this year was procurement, where we learned how to buy things for CPS. That was 45
In a
minutes.
capacity that we don't have the authority.
But many of the things are incredibly useful. Things like recognizing child abuse, homeless students.
There's a lot of them, they're actually mostly a lot of really important.
Yeah.
And then 3 other things, 3 further recommendations. One recommendation was that any announcements made over PA system in the building be done like in the very last few minutes of the class periods to not interrupt instruction. We followed up with a recommendation and discussion from last year about having somewhere in each building where students have access to a copy machine / printer. And we did make a suggestion for this campus that the student commons area would possibly be a good spot for that because students can be there during lunch periods and there's adult supervision in that space. And then we talked about figuring out where might be a similarly good location at the TFA. And then we requested follow-up on knowing, and we have scheduled department meeting time throughout the year. Mr. Richard shared with us a couple of dates. And that's,
Yeah.
that was on
So, if you have any questions, we love answering them.
This is not a question, but I was thinking as I was sitting here, I know that Ms. Villa already said that the CPS, CL, and social emotional learning office, like they're getting that discount. But I was also thinking that the Office of Protection would also be a good group to get trained with because I worked with them over the summer and I went to the training that they did at DeVry, not college, DeVry school. And their training was actually very interactive and it was very interesting. They do a lot of things on like accountability, consent, and belonging,
Do you have a
and
list
how
of all the
to,
trainings?
communicate with students and effectively. So, and there's also a restorative justice, like specialty person on their team. So that would be really
Thank you, I didn't help out then.
That would be awesome, because what we were looking at specifically is thinking more about like more training in sort of conversations and de-escalation techniques.
We do a lot of that.
Question of e-learning, because I am selfishly curious as to, so the state law for anti-harassment training is from here for all state of Illinois employees. But over the summer, the city of Chicago implemented an additional hour of bystander intervention training that is required for any employees of an employer located in the city of Chicago. So I was curious if that was one of your hours that.
It's one of them that I can't see, it's like.
Doesn't have the timing on it.
I have a list of all of them right here. Do you want me to list them?
Oh, I was just curious and,
Okay.
It's the EOCO.
Okay.
Okay, so this is all the mandated trainings, and just a correction on there, I did give the teachers an additional 150 minutes that first week of principal directed time that I did not take, that I gave back to the teachers, so I did give more time.
I mentioned 4.5 hours. Is
Pardon?
that not correct?
4.5 hours the first week when we were here, and then
Yeah.
the next week I had no principal directed periods, so that was your
Okay.
time too. All right, let me go over this real quick. So it's, first one is DCFS mandated reporter. Next one is EOCO harassment, discrimination, and retaliation. Next one is IDHR, Illinois Department of Human Rights, information security training, PCC, protecting Chicago's children. Next one is physical restraint and timeout procedural requirements. Next one is student code of conduct, due process requirements, narrative writing, and misconduct reports. Next one is suicide prevention and awareness. By the way, every student on their ID on the back has a suicide hotline number this year by Illinois state law. Last one, well, a couple more. Supporting transgender, non-binary, gender non-conforming students. Next one is procurement rules and guidelines, chronic conditions training, and then COVID-19 mitigations. So those are all.
Mr. G, a few of those I think were extra ones that are
Just for you.
straighter.
Oh, are they really? Okay, my
A
fault.
couple of those.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm just curious and interested because something does things too. I understand how doing all of these very important things, but trying to get them online is under pressure.
Time to actually complete it.
And but I will also share that it is a challenge every employer in the city.
Thank you.
To be able to accomplish prior training. So we do. And then I do thank you, Kyle, for mentioning that other resource. I was going to ask if, in addition to OSP, if there, and this could be through the city, or if you, I don't know if you ever bring in vendors individually to provide this kind of like hands-on training, but there are vendors who will come in and do de-escalation techniques. A lot of licensed therapy groups will come in and do that, as well as compassion fatigue and other types of training.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm wondering, I'd like to make a motion, to support, the PPLC under number 2, where they ask the LSC, to support that, the budgeting decisions be made with the goal of making class sizes smaller, so that all students get the attention they deserve. So I'd just like to make a motion that we support that.
How would you like to do that?
How would I like to accomplish that?
Yeah, what would be your suggestions?
It's just a motion of support that we support the PPLC in that. I mean, I don't think that I am qualified, because I don't work in the school, to really like on the spot come up with suggestions for that. I just want to say that I support it, and that I'd like to say that the LSC supports it, and then maybe from there we can have a subcommittee to maybe help come up with ideas with, you know, somebody who understands the budget and other things on the school. I don't know, but just beyond all of that, coming up with solutions, I just want to say that we support that recommendation.
I'll second.
Yeah, and I would add that I think there are probably standardized ways to even just include questions when it comes to motions regarding budget, to say what is the impact of this budget decision on class sizes, just to mind as a suggestion, but yeah. I support this.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Anyone abstaining?
I'm abstaining.
And I want to qualify my abstention because I feel
For
like,
sure.
the mere mention of it is that we don't make that as a priority in everything. But that's how I feel, is like the reason why you bring that up is that that's on the forefront of every decision we make in keeping our class sizes low. People need to understand I got a 1% increase and a 3% raise with the teachers. So that's on the forefront. So by saying that, it implies that we're not doing that. It would be like, I want to support that all of my teachers are teaching in all of their classes. Can I have that support right now? And that goes without saying, they do. So by saying that, that's why I was against it, because I think it lends it that I'm not transparent, or the fact that I don't have that at the forefront of all my decisions. So that's why I said no.
Well, I mean, I don't think that, I don't feel like that's the case. I just know that the PPLC was asking for the support, so I'm just,
And I get
that
it.
we supported it.
I would also like to clarify, I support Taft in its efforts to keep the classrooms small, to keep the class levels, student levels in
Me
the
too.
classes.
I do.
And that's where my support is with Taft, including the principal,
Me too.
and keeping those classes
I
a
do.
manageable size.
Sounds good.
So,
And I feel like having attended the meeting earlier today,
Mhm.
class sizes was part of the topic of discussion. And so I think that it's already top of mind, but just to reinforce that, I think is.
I got you. Just want to understand how it goes. So I say no. Please reflect it in the record.
And then there was one abstain, or
One abstention.
three abstained.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question about this whole printer thing though?
Yeah.
What, is that a maybe, or is there?
No, right now we're trying to get to a school that doesn't use a lot of paper. We were kind of there with COVID right now. I had a solution, we can't do it in the library because I have security in the library and they're by the door. They can't be monitoring computer or the printers and everything like that. I think everything could be done online. The fact that people talk about annotating, we have Cami, we just supported that to where they can annotate online doing that. So we're moving away from the paper thing. I think we can teach without it. I understand some kids like that, and I do too. I like having a book in my hand, but I'm good with audio books and I'm good with other things like that. So we just don't have the time, effort. I don't have the personnel to do it. I threw it back at them and said, you know what, I'm for it. Do it in your departments. You all have printers in your departments. If you want to set it up to where, you know what, you can come to our department after school, we will print this up for you, or you have printers, you could print it up for them. Okay, I understand kids don't have printers and it's an equity thing. So if you are going to have something, make sure that the kids do have a copy of it. And if you need to print it up for them, you print it up for them. So I kind of put it back on them, on the departments to do that. I just don't have the clerical or anything to do to be able to monitor that.
Got it.
Okay, thanks.
I'd like to add that, I don't want to stay after school to help students.
Okay,
Because my group dance is free.
good.
So it would probably be best if we had somewhere in the school, it's something that PPLC has for, spring too. But we realize this obviously.
Well, I have another question.
Sure.
So to have the printers, you're talking about what else would be required? So staff, security, I don't know what other things would be needed when you have a printer centrally located.
Yeah.
Maintenance, I'm not sure what else.
Yeah, all of that. Yeah, I just don't have the staff to do that.
Okay.
I just want to add, I feel like having a printer would be nice. We use printers in like every class. I don't really feel like we're using paper right now. And in my math, English, AP Psych class, physics class, we literally use paper every day. And we have assignments that's so it would be useful. And plus, we kind of need a library just in general. So it'd be nice if the student commons area was also a place where we could like do homework or read, instead of just having it as a lunch place. I mean, it could be after school, it's like homework, because sometimes everybody can't just go straight to home, they need to focus.
I understand. Again, we're talking budget though. I agree though. I totally agree with you, Princess.
Thank you. Was that it for the PPLC?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. Facilities.
No, we met as facilities real
Yeah,
quick, and no, it was kind of a short meeting. We just talked about that. We're working on the intercom system. The air conditioner is finally working upstairs, so kudos to Mr. Levens for finally getting that done in the cafeteria and the counseling wing. We were calling the sauna for a while right there, but it's really, it's working now, and that's about it.
Is there anything from the BAC that would be awarded?
No.
Was there something submitted from the BAC? I could have sworn I saw an email.
I didn't see that.
There's nothing you can send it out, just be fine.
I did send everybody a copy just before the meeting of the Taft Alumni Association financials for the last 5 years. So I emailed to everybody. If Paul wants to put it on the Google Sheets, that's fine. We normally get them once a year, but I did ask Miss Lunday if she could do it because we didn't do it in like 5 years. So you can, that's all yours. Yeah.
I'll have to check. Sorry.
Okay, if I find it, I just could have sworn I saw something.
Oh, yep, there was. I apologize, everyone. I'll send it out. The Safety and Security Committee.
Hi, everyone, thanks for holding on for so long. I did hand out a short little agenda that I received at the Safety and Security piece today. And that's Mr. Spear, who started with us last year, took over spot, and it's, I think, doing a good job. Summer, he met with different, meeting, like open house, not open house, assembly, town hall, sorry. Parents, he said he had over 150 parents, he got around 50 or so students, 40 to 50 staff. To go over this SOAR initiative, and the tier 1 is the initiative that goes out to everybody in the school, all campuses, all students. And then he had a group of 10 teachers and counselors help really kind of narrow down and edit the program that they put together to have kind of uniform expectations for our students in our buildings, which seems to be working really well. If you haven't seen it, I did ask Paul to send it out of the PDF form. Click on it, but also anything that here should have received this in an email, and I'm not sure if it's on the website somewhere, Mr. Schibber.
Not sure.
Or, so I don't know if it's on the website.
We'll put it on there.
I was gonna say, I would think in
Yeah.
the Friday email, like maybe at the bottom.
Yeah.
Under those kind of standing things.
Good idea.
you can have it there.
Mhm.
But it's a really thorough, policy, and I think he has said that it's already, compared to last year, the cell phone issues are down, people, using the Eagle Eye, zip line is up. And the data is showing that Varsity campuses had half of altercations as they did last year up until this time, and that at the freshman academy there hasn't been any altercations so far this year. I don't know if that's, I mean, that's what constitutes maybe a fight versus an altercation.
I mean, none that I'm aware of.
Yeah. So it sounds like this is really like this is working really well. On the next line item, security updates. We are short 2 security positions, but I believe that people are being interviewed, and those are any day now coming through. So there's 1 person missing each campus. Varsity should have 10, and freshman campus should have 6. And for the hallway washroom updates, for those of you who are new and or don't know, we've had, like most schools, hallway and bathroom issues. That's just kind of a constant. If you look at the attachment on the sheet I handed out, there's this great system that they came up with last year with a hall pass that's identifiable by teacher, floor level, all kinds of things, so that when somebody gets stuck or somebody's in the hallway, a lot of information is already known, so a lot of things get cut really quick to like, where you're supposed to be if you're not in the right place. And on the other side, just like you said on the IDs now with the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, that is on the back, as well as the information for the Eagle Eye. So this is also, I think, been very helpful and working very well as far as helping keep our students where they need to be, as well as not having to harass students who are just going to the bathroom. And then, oh, and he also said that Mr. Spear said they're still working to come up with a timeline with the art department for painting the bathrooms, having students come up with artwork for the art department to paint the bathrooms to help discourage the PD. And then looking ahead, so here's the thing, the restorative practices training. So Mr. Spear met today with Kellyanne Doyle from the Office of Social and Emotional Learning. I said that right, hopefully. She had been called back. Were working out dates, but she'd been called back by CPS to, I don't know, I think they're further kind of like outlining and detailing their restorative practices. And so there are several already scheduled. The first one is on the 27th of this month. It's going to be during the principal directed period. She will be doing the training in person. It will start with the 11th and 12th grade teachers. It will be on de-escalation techniques. And this is, he said that staff has been requesting. So that's going to be happening first. They're going to be in small groups. So then on October 18th, it will be 10th grade. And then on October 21st, there will be an all staff 2-hour PD with her. And then they'll be seeing the freshman campus with that de-escalation techniques. And I think I think this is gonna, I don't know if this is a CPS kind of outline, but she is, you know, she's working with the district, and there is somebody, there's a coach. There is I think it is her offering coaching for teachers, observation coaching, one-on-one observation coaching as well. Also through this, looking ahead, Mr. Spear had, there was an individual in the school helped design a poster for SOAR that's going to be put in all the classrooms. That's going to help further make that kind of like everybody knows the expectations. And finally, they are filling out, let me make sure that's finally, they are filling out the conflict resolution team. They have 2, they need 5, but the 3rd person is starting September 23rd. The 4th person there's an offer into the 4th person, and for the 5th person, they're in the middle of interviews. And the network, CPS network, distinguishes between deans and conflict resolution specialists, and CPS is the one trying to make this different kind. You know, we used to have deans, now we have conflict resolution specialists, so that's a CPS. And that is, that's basically it. If anybody has questions, I'll try to answer them or get an answer for you.
Thank you for finding the answers from the trainers. This happened after our meeting.
Yes, this was today. Earlier today, so the agenda wasn't even ready for me to select.
This does seem to be what we're asking for, and I thank administration for hooking us up.
I have a question. You mentioned issues in the hallways and bathroom. What do you mean by that? What's going on?
Oh, just, you know, lots of times students would congregate in the bathroom. Students would use cell phones to meet up in bathrooms, so now cell phones are being put in cell phone trees. You know, there's only certain times of class period that you can have a pass. A hallway pass is like 1 per teacher, and they're identifiable as such. So the kind of people ending up in the bathroom and hanging out in the bathroom, meeting up with friends, doing whatever, whether they're just hanging out, avoiding things, breaking things, whatever it is, that has been reduced dramatically. That's kind of some having kids who've been in other high school in CPS, I mean, that's not uncommon, and they're always looking for solutions to reduce those kinds of things, and I think that this hall pass system has been really effective. Hallways, I don't know, just kids lingering in hallways who aren't supposed to be there, but now if we don't have that pass, you know, it's very quick to identify that you're not
They're
supposed to be
very
there.
large. too.
I'll piggyback on that. Yeah, we do have really large things, so you can look down a hallway and see whether or not a kid has that large pass. And if he does it, the security guards go up there and let me see your ID, they'll walk them to class. Kids do congregate in the bathrooms. What you won't see now, what you used to see last year, is kids walking with a pass, just on their phone, just taking their time getting to the bathroom.
Okay.
If they have a phone, what we do is we take a picture of the pass with the phone and we send it to the teacher and say, by the way, this happened, so you know. Because a lot of kids will put a fake phone up there, they'll put their calculator up there, and so kids are getting wise to it. What they do in the bathroom, sometimes they're vaping. It's just like it's a national thing we got going on right now. We're trying to help that. We've got the teachers in the hallways for the most part. And then we've got our security guards in the bathrooms. So that's kind of helping out a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a comment. Would it be possible to add the exact number of the bathroom? Because I know it says like west side of the building, but I feel like sometimes it's a little confusing. And like today, for example, I was in choir class, and you know that's like all the way on the side.
Right.
Whatever. Wherever it is, it was hard to like figure out like where is the bathroom, because the one right by the bathroom, that's always like closed. And then I didn't even think of going to the second floor one for the lunchroom, so it'd be nice if you could like put the actual numbers on there, so you know exactly where to go.
And what I tell all kids is just go to the west end of Natoma. All 3 floors are all student bathrooms. You have the one right by there, but that's where all 3 floors. We actually, last year, the second floor was for teachers, and we took that one away and said, listen, we need our biggest bathrooms for our kids, so you can always find a bathroom on the first, second, or third floor, or right by the other ones. The other ones, we close because we can't monitor. As soon as we open them, you know there's gonna be 12 kids in there, say, meet me in this bathroom, and you go in, there's 20 kids in there. So that's one of the reasons why we have to do that, okay?
Do you have other passes if they have to go to the office or something?
It's the same pass. Pass is a
Okay.
pass, yeah.
All right.
I have one more question.
Oh, sorry.
Right, we're good.
Okay, right.
Ms. Pyle, you are next on the agenda if you have anything to report.
I don't really have much to say. I think like the SBC part was the main focus, you know, just starting.
For
not
sure.
really That much to talk about, but I will say that students are really excited about Food Truck Fridays. I hope that becomes like an every week thing. Maybe not my time, maybe for next year. And for homecoming too, a lot of people are looking forward to that. So I'm definitely seeing school spirit going up.
Yeah.
This year.
Thanks, Princess. It's gonna be a good time.
Mr. Shea, can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
How come no kids from outside center?
Because the hall holds about 2,600 kids. We're gonna max out around 2,300. And so, yeah, and so the one change we had this year is that freshmen are allowed to go, and they're really excited. For the last 3 years, they were not invited to go. And it's weird because they want to be there. And you know, it was kind of like when we used to have it in the gym, the academic center would be upstairs, but then they'd be sneaking out because they wanted to go to the big dance. Yeah, and so you get it, yeah. So again, and it's security and who knows, and then people want to bring a 23-year-old boyfriend. It's just let's keep it tapping. I said, meet them afterwards. It's done at 10 and it's gonna be good. So. And I know I did have some ask us about security. We are gonna have about 50 teachers there. And so there's not going to be sneaking out and everything like this. And when I go there, I have the mind of a teenager. Like, I know I can go, nope, that's going to be covered and everything like that. So security is going to be fine. And I'll tell you this, our kids, when they dress up to go to like dances and proms, there's never any problems. It's amazing. When our kids get dressed up, they just are, they're just wonderful. So it's going to be a good party.
I'm excited. They're excited.
Yeah. And don't freak out when you see these videos of 1,000 kids just jumping up in a search. That's what they do, okay?
All right. Is there anything from Friends of Taft or the PTSA?
No, I just said I put the budget or the income statement from TAA on there right now. I do have to call the PTSA. They're kind of disappeared on us. So I gotta make a phone call and say, where are you? And their original intent was to change from the PTSA, which costs it's like a franchise. You have to pay this amount to be called PTSA, and they didn't want to do that anymore. They said, let's be friends of Taft. We don't have that yearly thing that we have to do. So I have to get a hold of her. She's, it's tough, but I will try again.
Okay. All right, we've got some items from old business on here. We can see if they still need to be on here. Restorative justice training, update on when training is scheduled. Did that already get handled?
Already done.
Okay. Remove that one. Taft PTSA, Friends of Taft, that we just talked about that, no progress. SRO update for renewing, is that?
That's old. Yeah, they're renewed for a year,
Okay.
both campuses.
Do we want to explore allowing a student rep to come?
Was that the primary idea?
Yeah.
That we talked about earlier,
We kind of mishmashed it.
to have like a primary.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's done. Okay. All right, moving on to new business. The Taft Freshman Academy Varsity Campus Shuttles.
Yeah, thank you. And as the parent of a freshman on the football team, and he gets a little card and he gets to get on a bus after school, and it makes a couple of trips, but it can, even if he's the first one on the bus, he can be late for practice. And he said that lately more kids are using that athletic shuttle, and so sometimes they're waiting for multiple trips because not just of other teams, but other students. Now, a parent that I know who had kids here last year was like, "Oh, HOCOM, there's a shuttle for between the freshman academy and the varsity campus that's for any student that's going in between." But so I just wanted to get some clarity on, is that a possibility? Is CPS transportation are there things parents can do to try to lobby for more resources to get kids between campuses besides the Narragansett bus?
You could understand that that's not CPS. We pay that. We pay that shuttle.
Okay, so this is our own budget.
It is,
Okay.
yeah, and we didn't have one this time, but every month we're going to have a $20,000 fee for Compass, and that is that shuttle that runs twice.
And that's
Now-
that one bus that goes back and
Right,
forth.
and it's my understanding that's supposed to only be athletes. So if you're telling me there's other kids on there, then I need to kind of, maybe monitor it a little bit more.
But I think it's volleyball. I think he mentioned there was like a girls volleyball team.
It could be.
And they're kind of like,
Yeah,
fighting for space on that
Yeah.
shuttle. And on days when there's a Monday home game, like there was yesterday,
it's a little,
it
yeah.
was very high pressure for the freshman football
I got you.
kids,
Okay, yeah.
And I'm not here to complain, but I am here to say, how can I help find a solution?
Oh, and I'll tell you what the solution is. I'm going to have Mr. Kessler and Mr. Elder look at it, and then when we do have a game like that, I'm going to let them know that it's going to be kind of dense on that thing, and that maybe we need to get another bus over there for just those events, so we don't have that. So I'll have him look at his schedule, because he has a weekly schedule, and he can see all the events, and if he does have that, we got to get another bus over there.
Coach Elder is one of the most organized human beings I've ever interacted with, professionally or personally, so I just need to lift that up.
Oh, I know. That's why we hired him.
But
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you.
Is that shuttle not available for students in clubs that are not athletic? I thought it was. Yeah, I thought that there was a shuttle at least a couple of years ago before the pandemic that's supposed to be bringing kids over for clubs.
It's my understanding it's only for sports right now, but I'll double check on that. It's for clubs too, yeah. I think our goal is to start the clubs over there and then seed them and bring them over here, but I'll double check, okay? Yeah, maybe we need to get another shuttle. We'll just have to talk about that.
That's $20,000 a month.
Usually, yeah, $20,000 a month. Not that, but other things too. I mean, we have 72 different sports teams that
Okay.
are all over the place.
I was
Yeah.
just thinking of, okay, all right, so all the busing,
For all the
not
busing.
just that
No,
shuttle.
all busing. Yeah. And we are saving some money with our own individual bus that we have here. We're probably saving $60,000 a year on that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
all right. And then, Alex, the pre-pandemic perks versus today, the incentive strategy for those trucks.
Yeah, I was wondering about the food trucks. Was that once a month? Is that every week? And do we have,
Once a month.
what we used to do for the students? I know with the food trucks, it seems like you were using that as an incentive, asking for good behavior, but I was wondering if there are other kinds of things that we just give the students just to give it to them because they should have things.
Is this an incentive? I mean, is this something that can be
No.
pulled away if there's a problem?
No, it's
or-
really just, dipping our toe in the pool right now and seeing if they could do it. I mean, I came from Whitney Young with an open campus. We cannot do that here. I understand
We
that.
don't even have any.
There's Brandy's and there's Subway, and Yeah, and everybody, and I'll just be honest, kids are gonna be vaping in the alleys and it's gonna be great. We can't do that.
Yeah.
But I'd like to get them outside and from the fresh air. Now, the reason why we're doing this is Student Voice Committee, the freshmen were used to going outside when they were freshmen last year, and they're coming here like, why can't we go, we want to go outside, so we're listening to those freshmen. So I would love to be able to do it Food Truck Friday, once a month, Food Truck Friday every time. How about every day would be able to go out there? That would be my goal, but right now I just don't want to implement that and have to pull it back. So it's kind of just, like I said, just kind of see what it's like, you know. And it is taxing on our security right now. We're down security. We got to put a couple people out there. Probably administrators will be watching it.
Do you need to pull them onto the campus, or do they actually have to walk to the street?
No, they're going to be right out here by door number 4.
Okay.
And those
okay.
stanchions that we bought, we're going to put those stanchions around
Okay, good.
so that the kids can't really go in. So
Yeah.
hopefully we can kind of corral them in a little bit, but they get fresh air and everything like that. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping we can do it every day because it would be wonderful to go out there and, yeah. Okay, great. Princess?
Yeah, so Friday, is this like Tahoe?
Yeah. Oh, here's what I'm gonna say. I just shot you down with the tacos. It's gotta be, and the reason I say this is I just went to Rib Fest. It's in Sycamore, and the line was like 100 people long, and I'm like, this can't be it because you only have 50 minutes. And it can't be something where I want like sour cream, this, and it's specially made. It's gotta be like, what do you want? Boom, boom. It's gotta be really quick, or it's gonna upset a lot of people. So we're gonna see if we can just do it quick. Now, if somebody has like, these are tacos, it's beef and cheese, you want it, maybe we can do that. But right now, we're just kind of see what we got, you know. And then I'll ask you guys, you're gonna be out there, student voice, you tell me, you know, get rid of this one, get rid of that one. So, yeah.
All right, any more questions with that? Okay, does anyone have any public participation they would like to give in?
You can write your name down.
Sure.
Yeah.
And do you have anything there?
No, that's fine.
Okay. So I am coming from one, thank you. I'm a little tired and a little cold. I'm getting
I
there.
know.
So I appreciate all the help you do, and all of the things you vote on. I will say as a parent and a teacher, because I do have 2 students here. I have one at the freshman and one here as a junior. 2 more coming up. But I really appreciate, especially after a lot of the COVID things that has stopped a lot of activities. I appreciate you putting the vote behind budgeting things like an awesome homecoming.
Mhm.
These kids last year, if I chaperoned, they appreciated it. They want to be a school together.
Mhm.
And with that, we do have to make limitations, like not allowing other people from the outside in,
Mhm.
because we do want to focus on our students. But I also appreciate the fact that we're doing this. It does cost more money because of the sheer number of the location, but it's going to be better. And I appreciate that because I feel like the kids are missing out on some activities. And I don't want that equitable stance to be taken away from them because other schools get homecoming as a school. I appreciate that we can put the money behind doing it just because we're a big school. So thank you for voting for that.
Mhm.
And I know it seems like it's a lot of money. So I'll stop at that, but thank you. I appreciate that. And also athletics are fantastic. I promote my students as well as my own children to go to them, but I do want to try to start putting forth an understanding that I don't know if it's in the budget, so I'm just putting it out there that maybe there could be one more shuttle so those kids can get participating in the clubs.
Yeah, okay.
But maybe organizing it because the reality is sports practice do start earlier. They do have to get in their clothes.
Yeah.
It should just be an understanding that we're a community and we got to work together, get those athletes on. They wait for a little bit, get their snacks from the cafeteria, and then the clubs go if they could just postpone a little bit. Because I want that involvement a little bit more. And I know it's hard coming out of COVID, but just putting that as somewhat of a troubleshooting priority at some point for the clubs because there are so many. And I think kids, miss out or don't know how to get on there and feel a little apprehensive on that shuttle. So just maybe troubleshooting that.
Yeah, I'll get an update for the next
Yeah.
meeting, where like on Monday, we have 82 spots and it was covered by 68, so we'll get numbers so we understand. If we need to vote for another shuttle, we'll do another shuttle.
And I don't know if it's even possible this year,
Yeah,
but maybe
no.
just keeping it on the radar
Yeah.
because there are so many different clubs.
Right.
That I think kids at the freshmen sometimes get missed out.
Especially now that
Yeah.
International Club, which is our biggest club,
That's
is yeah, and it's like made up of so many clubs that they want to be part of it. I hear you.
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
just saying, keep
I
it on the
understand.
radar because
We'll do.
it's a nice problem to have.
It is, yeah.
I'd rather have that than not.
All right, thanks, Rachel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was gonna add, and think like Mr. Cohen here, think about things like debate. I'm assuming we maybe have students at the freshman academy involved. with things like
We
debate.
have 3 varsity debaters at the varsity campus, and we have a boatload of interest from freshmen.
Yeah.
But they would have to get here because, so like getting them here. I don't, whether debate is a sport or not is a philosophical question. I don't want to get into. I didn't sign for public comment. But we do compete against other schools. So.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Okay. With that, I will move to adjourn. Our next meeting is October 11th, here in the Varsity campus. Anyone want a second to?
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I have a question.
Thank you.
We got-